So really, I wanted to talk today about time. And one thing I'll share with you is how in India there are two words for time. One is now, and the other is not now. Those are the only Hindi words for time, Sanskrit, whatever. All the other words that Indians use for time are English words. So they'll say tomorrow like that, but all it means to, or it used to in the old days, all it meant was not now. So let's say I would go to have something done, like have a shirt done, whatever. And I say, well, when's it going to be ready? And they say tomorrow. So I come back the next day and it's not ready. And I ask, oh, when's it going to be ready? And they say tomorrow. And I was very frustrated, you see, at first. I didn't realize that for this person, tomorrow just meant not now. It didn't mean tomorrow. And they didn't have the concept of tomorrow, you see. So it's a very simple way of looking at time. There's now and not now. And actually, it's much cleaner. Now, all the other words for time in Hindi are English, like I said. Tomorrow, in an hour, all that, the time concept's ridiculous. When I used to go see Shree, all the people that had money had wristwatches, and none of them had the right time on them. And none of them really worked, and no one knew how to read them anyway. You'd look at the watch, it was irrelevant. It was a piece of jewelry and a status symbol that they had it. But people didn't, I mean, it was clear what time it was. Look at the sun. It's the middle of the day. Looks like a good time for a nap. Like that. And so life just went on in a very simple way. Now this is this is a long time ago. And I think things have updated quite a bit in India, particularly in the cities. Probably if you go out to the country, it's the way it's always. But you see, this thing of time that we have this notion. Let me make sure I got that going. Yeah, we have this notion that that time is substantial, but I think the time goes unexamined. People don't really look at it carefully, and when you do, you'll see that there's really no there. Okay, so you have this idea of time. You know you were born and you grew up and all these things happened. I remember one thing. I remember in elementary school waiting for the class to be over and looking at the clock. And I know for a fact that second hand moved way slower than it does now. It's clear objectively that time is going at the same pace now than it was when I was, 5 years old, right? But it didn't seem like it, did it? And this is the thing. Time really doesn't have the solidity that you give it and the consistency that you give it. So when you look at it, okay, you had all this stuff that happened yesterday. Now, yesterday is gone. I mean, it's gone. You may have a memory of yesterday, but that's not yesterday. Everything in your past is just stored as a memory in your head. But there's nothing there. There really isn't anything there. The past doesn't exist. It's all gone, isn't it? So when you look at time, maybe spend some time really examining how it is, what it is. You see, now Maharaj says that time is a creation of the mind, which is an interesting concept, and one that I would consider if I were you. that all of this is just a creation. You see, now, in order for there to be a story, there has to be a beginning, middle, and end. And your life is clearly a story. And to make the story work, there has to be time. But in fact, you see, this whole notion of a past, present, and future is very constraining and finite, you see, whereas that which is has no boundaries. So the past, present, and future exist all together at the same time. So really, look at it. I think I saw this guy. It was a very unique person. His name was, I believe, Christian Sundberg, and he discussed about past life contracts, and that it was just another concept. Some of it not consistent with what I teach, but they're all concepts, and that's all they are. So I don't have a problem with that. But it was interesting because he described the idea that you were born and you had certain arrangements, certain situations that you were going to be confronted with, and it was all agreed, all of it. The birth, the death, everything was agreed, and it was going to transpire the way it did. And he described basically like a soul that just goes into these lifetime one after another for certain lessons and agreements, and evolves as it does, and has these particular experiences for this evolvement, whatever it is. But it was interesting how in the description, it was like each lifetime was just a short little boom, 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 like that. Nothing. It was nothing. It was just a short little, just like when you watch the TV show, there's maybe your favorite sitcom. It runs for a half hour, and that's each episode is a half hour, and then you watch the next. It's like that. That's the lifetime. You see. So from your perspective, when you're in the lifetime, first of all, he described that like a veil comes over and you forget. You forget everything. You forget where you came from. You forget who you are. And then you go through those lessons. And it seems like a long time when you're in it. But from the perspective that is much removed, you can kind of see, you can kind of feel what that would be like if it's lifetime after, like little episodes of one of the dramas or comedies or whatever situations, that things that you enjoy watching, and they just go one after another after another. No, there's no big deal, and each one you forget, and then you remember, forget, remember, da 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 da, and it just runs its process. And I got the feeling, so you're thinking about your lifetime in terms of time, and there's the birth and the life and the death, and that's that story. And but I was also imagining when he was speaking, the soul has a lifetime, and it goes through all the different incarnations, and then within that concept, you could have the concept of enlightenment being the death of the soul, the end of that whole series, you see. And so I enjoyed listening to him also, because he began the whole thing saying there's nothing about this that can really be put into words, and the words are just pointers, approximations, and just pointers. That's all. They're not the essence of truth, which is what I'm saying as well. So everyone has all these different concepts that can help, and you follow the ones you resonate with. That's all. It's a real, but this time thing, if you really look at it, you'll see that the very basis of what you consider to be your life has no substance. You see, because you were born, you did this, you did that, you worked at this, you made this, you did all the different things that went on, you see, and in your memory. They're just in your memory. They have no substance. Nothing ever happened. It's like it. You believe something happened because you're imagining that. But when you look at time, you'll see that the past just disappears. It just fades into nothing. There's nothing there. All that you have is a remnant of a memory, which has no substance at all. You see, and where is that memory? What happens to that memory if you get Alzheimer's? Yeah. So you see, really, it's nothing. It's just like a scratch in a CD, and upon that, you consider that to be your entire existence, proof of your existence, proof of solidity, but there's nothing to it. There's nothing to it at all. Now, everything seems, in the moment, it seems real. But where is that reality when this moment is yesterday? Where is it? Where is all this? You see, look at this carefully, and stop allowing yourself to become fully absorbed in this truly false reality. None of this is actually happening. Okay, it's just an appearance. And appearances, they may look real in the moment, but after the moment's gone, they're not real. And you've just, through your imagination, convinced yourself that something actually has happened, you see. But you know, within the stretch of time, if you were to look at all the things that happened in your life in 1,000 years, there'd be nothing to it. Nothing really happened. Nothing happened. No one would remember it. No one would have any evidence of it. Nothing ever happened. And in fact, even though now seems real, nothing is happening. It's just an appearance. It's just an appearance. All of this is an appearance in consciousness. And it's nice to be able to sit back and just rest in that sense of being, which is the gift of now. And the gift of all of it is just being able to rest in that sense of being. And but none of this has anything to do with anything. And the who that you are, the who that is, existed long before this body was born, and will exist long after the body's gone, because the who that you are is beyond time. It's beyond everything. It's beyond all thought. It's beyond all of it, because it is everything. And by everything, I don't mean the everything that you have a concept of. I mean the everything that is everything, which would never fit into a concept. It's far beyond that. But I think you can feel what it is, because that's where we all live. And in that place, we're all one. There's no separation. It's just oneness. So use your discrimination, use your power of observation to see that there is no there. There's no substance to this sense you have of yourself as a person, because that is all based in the illusion of time, which is simply a construct that makes the story possible. And the story is just a story. Nothing ever happened. There's plenty of books that have been written and movies that have been made about things that never happened. And that's your life. So, simply, when you can, remind yourself of that place of just being. We can call it I am, as a pointer. But there is a space of just being with no one actually being there, and yet just being is all there is. And so you rest in that as much as possible, because that's your home. And let this all pass. Let it all go by. It's just a story playing. It's just a story playing, and there is no you anyway. The you that you think you are is pretend. And you can enjoy what you can enjoy, including the stuff that's uncomfortable. Just being with it all changes the whole spirit of life, because then you live in a place of complete peace, even though things are difficult, even when things are easy. No one gets involved, because everything is just being witnessed. You see, just being witnessed without someone witnessing. It's just being seen. And in that vision, everything is the same. Same. That's as clear as I can make it for the moment. Understanding that it's not in the words, but I think each of you in this moment are able to fall into the awareness of what is, and keep that and remind yourself of that. And when you see someone getting involved in the moment, all it is the ego being involved in itself. It's got nothing to do with you. If you don't participate, if you don't engage, all it does is fade away. And then you have peace, you see. Then you have what is called bliss. You can call it all kinds of nice things. But it's just that contentment with all of it, just a sense of complete contentment with everything. So, work with that in your daily, and notice when you're taking time, the substance of time for granted, because there is no substance there. You can look at yesterday for your proof. Yesterday's just a dream, isn't it? It's just a memory. Now is all there is, isn't it? So you can't even touch now, because as soon as you touch it, it's gone. Now it just is. You see, it's not even time really now, is it? Now it's beyond time. And the past is just a construct that the mind made to keep the story alive. The future, it's just something you imagine. It's a projection of the mind. All there is this moment, and even that is beyond time. So, explore this intellectually, and abandon that attachment you have to time as being that which has substance.